All right, the cannons are set. These bad boys were responsible for keeping away the pesky English for centuries. No, I am not in England anymore. We are in the country further up north, Scotland. And yes, it's technically a different country because United Kingdom is composed of a few different countries united together. This fortification, Edinburgh Castle, is the reason why Edinburgh has such a unique look to it. You're going to see as we walk around through the old town, it's rather cramped, it's rather tight. It rather looks like if you were to transport yourself to New York back in the 1800s, because New York was also had that reputation being rather tight. So everyone, I'm Ariel, this is Urbanist, welcome to Edinburgh. Behold the city. So here we are at Edinburgh Castle, one of the most famous castles in the entire world for a very specific reason. We are on Castle Rock, so it's a hill that juts out, almost out of nowhere, in the middle of this landscape. Edinburgh is built on various hills. I think it's 7. There's a lot of cities with 7 hills, like Rome as well, and Washington, D.C. But the views are amazing. I'm going to show you more of the views. We're going to see them better downstairs on the ground level. But we're going to enjoy walking around through the castle, and then we're going to make our way through the Royal Mile. And someone earlier said, do your best Scottish accent. I will not be doing any Scottish accents here. This is not that type of show. This is very serious. I'm going to stick to my normal New York accent, dead ass, okay? Welcome everyone, nice to see you here. The cannons, yeah, they are real and they are shot at 1 p.m. every day. You know, I surprisingly haven't heard it yet, so I'm not sure if the tradition is 100% continuing, but I think it does. There we're starting to peek through, and we're starting to see the Royal Mile. So yeah, these are real cannons that are shot. I'm not sure exactly which ones are shot. So the reason cannons are shot from here as a signal at 1 p.m. is that a lot of sailors doing commerce and merchant vessels were complaining that they didn't have a time ball at the ports of Edinburgh, which is nearby, and Leith, and there's a few others. And the castle decided, rather than try to build some type of time ball to denote 1 p.m., which is midday, and a lot of time balls usually denote 1 p.m. all around the world, they decided to shoot off cannons at 1 p.m. At least that's one of the main reasons. So it still continues to this day. Ron says a Scottish New York accent? No Scottish New York accent. So here inside they have the memorial for all the soldiers that lost their lives in both world wars. I can't go inside, they strictly don't allow photograph or video. It's a very beautiful memorial. They have all the names of all the men that died who are from Scotland in those wars. Lucy says, I guess the cannons are shot off to keep them getting rusty. That could be another reason. Yeah, there could be various reasons why they continue that tradition. Here inside is the Scottish crown jewels, also unable to film inside, but you probably can find various photos or if not BBC documentaries on it. But Scotland has its own crown jewels. Hello Nova, nice to see you here, welcome. Ooh, it's getting windy. So this is like a remembrance memorial? It says PowerPoint? Yes it is. This is a remembrance memorial. This is the National War Memorial of Scotland. The nation of Scotland, the country of Scotland. because United Kingdom technically is a amalgamation of a few different nations, that being Wales, England, Northern Ireland. Right here we have the Great Hall. The castle bricks are amazing. Yeah, the castle bricks are amazing. They are made from the same material that is from this very city, Edinburgh. So you're going to notice as we're walking around, Edinburgh has kind of all of a brown look to it. It's because almost all the buildings use the same type of stone. And let's take a closer look at the brick. A few people want to see the brick, yeah. Itashim says, I was waiting for you. Carol says, it's where James the First lived. Indeed he did, but we're going to talk about different James. Go outside. Stay tuned, because there was a monarch here in Scotland that went on a rampage against the occult forces that apparently, according to him, were drowning Scotland in disease, turmoil, and economic hardship. He even wrote a full book called Demonology. Well, stay tuned. We'll talk about that story in a bit. Hey, Joe Tack, Vegas says, greetings from New York. Love to watch your videos. It's always very informative and relaxing. Yeah, Joe Tack, thank you so much. We're also sending stars. Stars are worth double through. Is giving like huge bonuses for people who do very good live videos. So let's share these Facebook live videos as much as possible. So click share right now, and then on YouTube, press that like button. Today, this is not going to be heavy on the history. There is so much history content of Edinburgh, and there's so many tours that have been recorded on YouTube. Check any of those out after this live video to get even more context. Or if you're a traveler and a tourist and you're coming to Edinburgh, there's like so many walking tours. It's huge, the amount there are. But we'll be touching upon a few stories as we walk around. Maureen, is it cold? It is, I feel cold. It's and the thing is, here in the UK, the winds are much more moist than they are in New York City, so it feels even colder in New York. To me, a 45-degree Fahrenheit here feels like a 35-degree Fahrenheit in New York. So here we can have our wee dram of whiskey. There's probably no service inside these rooms, so I'm gonna refrain from going indoors. Wow. Okay, Marianne, thank you so much for the stars. I appreciate you. Adam is loving these views. Me too, Adam. Gorgeous, gorgeous views. Camilla says, how do you like Edinburgh so far? I'm loving it. It's a beautiful city. Lots of things to do. And we can see that we're starting to see here the division between Old Town and New Town. So the Old Town is going to be on the other side of the castle, which we're going to see soon. And the New Town, of course, obviously, is a bit new. So we got Leith down there. We got the fishing village of Fife down there.
A lot further away than that, where there's a flashing light. Yeah, that's what's called Fourth Bridge.
For $5 super chat. I appreciate you. Lucy, I appreciate that. Thank you so much for a $5 super chat. We have our second super chatter, and Marianne and Kay with stars. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. And everyone. We continue on since we're at the castle. I have some news. A very kind urbanist out there bought me exactly 1 square foot of land at Glencoe in the Highlands. And I just got the certificate, and I'm officially a Scottish lord. So for the rest of this broadcast, you have to refer to me, Lord Ariel. Otherwise, dire consequences will be carried out. Huge shout out to Laureen. Laureen was the one who bought that 1 square foot of land in Glencoe under my name. So thank you so much, Laureen, for bestowing the honor. I appreciate that. Ability of being the Lord. Let's go downstairs. I think I could go this way. Yeah, this way. Debbie, thank you so much for 50 stars. Martin says, well done, Lord Ariel. Thank you. Nova says, that's fabulous. Congrats. Thank you. Lord Ariel Vieira II. Snow day in New Jersey. Glad to be joining you, says Inspire Live. Yeah, nice to see you here, Jason. It was a snowy day yesterday here in Scotland. Went up to the Highlands. Check out those live videos after this one if you haven't seen them yet. Down there is the prisons. Kay also is a lady. Kay, I'm glad you're Lady Catherine. It's awesome. Dear Lord Ariel, says Dolores, I'm so enjoying your videos of Scotland and the glorious countryside. Thank you so much. Today's live videos for glory. Ron says, where's my throne? Well, technically a king is supposed to have a throne. And I don't want to offend Her Majesty, so I don't have a throne, but I affectionately call my Lou my throne, like a lot of British people do. Here's the governor's house. Let's see. This elegant residence was built in 1742. It's been in construction for a little bit less than 1,000 years, so quite a while. And we have lots of new construction, such as this one. Governor's House, 1742, was the garrison's senior officers, and is today the home to the governor of Edinburgh Castle. Oh, Edinburgh Castle still has a governor. Right now, his name is Alistair Bruce. And there's also a British Army officers' mess where ranks eat, where higher ranks eat together. That's awesome. Kay says, do you know that you can legally use the Lord title on your passport? I'm not sure if I could on American passports, but is that the case in UK or Irish passports? That's awesome. So you're a lord now, says Becky from Glencoe. Yeah, well, Glencoe's where I own my plot of land, but I will always be a lord from the great queens. I'm a queensman. Lord Ariel from Jackson Heights. Protector of Glencoe. That's my full title. Let's check out the views. Shall we? All right, here we have the diagram. Susan says no snow here. It all melted. It was rainy during the night and it melted. So Bank of Scotland, where's Bank of Scotland? That's the National Gallery right over there. Bank of Scotland is the one with the green top right over there. Gary says Ariel Vera, there can only be one. Yeah, there can only be. Just like Highlander, yeah, the amazing series and movie. (1573). Edinburgh Castle was reduced to rubble. Cannon smashed the medieval defenses in the Lang siege. Then in 1745, the castle guns fired on Edinburgh. Oh my God, they fired on the city during the Jacobite Rising. White soldiers who wanted to remained in government hands, and it's wow, that's crazy. This is very similar to what happened in Paris, where they fired cannons upon the city. And here, there's also, as I mentioned earlier, the crown jewels, state crown, sword, and scepter are here. Ron says I should be the saint of avocado toast. Saints are only canonized long after death. Hey, today's Scotland. Yes, we're doing Scotland. What was your first decree as a lord? Says Ron. That's a good question. I hereby decree avocado toast to be sold at every cafe. Dolores says, "Me lord, do you happen to know where your land is located?" Yeah, I have the exact plot number, so I'll be able to like locate the coordinates and show you. It's 1 square foot, so you know, only one person can fit at a time. So there is a waiting list that you have to put yourself on in order to get to my land. So let's see if we can see anything else before we exit. Yeah, let's So here we see the rock that sticks out. Jim says, "Hey, Lord Ariel, when can we expect?" Has great coffee, so I will be showing some coffee soon. Stay tuned. Lauren says, "Put a flag on your land." Yes, indeed. Urbanist you. Gotta make my own. Gary says, hopefully you've been studying up on some good Scottish words to use in your stream. Maybe we can discuss that because I don't know too many, but maybe we can discuss it over a cup and a blether. And then we'll find out a little bit more Scottish slang. Jet says, you're so lucky to visit the UK. Do you have to pay taxes on your land? Well, Sylvia, I hope not. I hope 1 square foot does not constitute taxes. Lauren says I is yes, I. And Maureen says, Sir Ariel of NYC, Your Honor. Thank you so much, Maureen, for greeting me by my appropriate rank. The Witchery of Edinburgh, great food and location but expensive, says Julia. I was looking into that, Julio, or Julio. I was contemplating of visiting the Witchery. Hey Lorraine, nice to see you here. Welcome. I have a spare box of Legos if you want to build on your land, says Becky. I think that would be the most appropriate thing. 1 square foot, it's very spacious. I in 1 square foot, I could barely fit my foot. Uh-oh. This is gonna be an issue. How will I be moving into my land? Will you be sampling haggis, says Phil. Oh yeah, haggis will be featured at some point in these videos. It's a bit tricky to just walk into shops because just like England, London has bad service for a few issues, I think, but here in Edinburgh, the buildings you're gonna see are very strong, heavy buildings and very old. So service is not always going to be reliable. So I won't be able to feature food as I do like in New York and pop in. I'll be able to maybe do specific live videos for it, so stay tuned. Put on notifications for those. Hey Marina, nice to see you here, welcome. Susan says, how will I decorate my I got a lot of room, it's a lot of decisions have to be made. So we have Arthur's Seat down that way, where you can actually hike towards. And that has a lot of legend because it's a defunct volcano. But legend has it that it's actually not a volcano at all. It's actually a dragon sleeping for centuries, waiting to burst and ravage the land once again. That's one of the legends. The other legend is that it's the seat of King Arthur himself. You get a Greg's. No, I have not tried Greg's yet. And I think I will at some point. So right over here we have the beautiful views of the snowy mountains of Edinburgh. As I mentioned, it was quite snowy the past 2 days. Phil says also try some deep fried Mars bar. I've tried a lot of deep fried candies because it's pretty usual in the US, but I'll try the Mars bar. Liz says, this is one of the friendliest cities I've been to. Yeah. Wow, beautiful. There's a great pub over that wall on the right, says Peter. Oh, thank you so much. For all the Edinburghers, is that how I say people from Edinburgh? Edinburghers? All the Scots tuning in, do let me know. What is What are the best pubs in Edinburgh? There are deep fried pies in Scotland, says Becky. What? Oh my. So here we're standing in a very important part of Scottish tradition. Here's where they have the annual military tattoo. Massive, massive event that's televised. They have gigantic bleachers. And it's very high in demand. Lots of men playing bagpipes here in the middle. Lots of other things happen during the military tattoo. Oh, I forgot to mention, but in front of the castle we have two figures. I'll zoom in. We have two figures. We have William Wallace and Robert the Bruce. William Wallace, of course, is famous for the film Braveheart. He's the guy who unleashed a revolt against the English. Technically, it was never a revolt because he never pledged allegiance to the English, so he never ever revolted, according to him, never went against any type of allegiance. And then we have Robert the Bruce, who made Scotland independent once again. So this might be the site of the military tattoo, but many, many centuries ago, there was King James VI. This king was a marriage between different European powers combining together. And during that time in Europe, there was lots of witch trials. People were trying to oust these so-called demonic forces from Europe. But they never took it too far in continental Europe. So maybe a few dozen people were executed. In Ireland, for example, I don't think anyone was executed. Only one person associated with the witch was executed. But here, King James VI really went out of hand. He ended up writing a book called Demonology. And Demonology was a book about classifying all the different demons, all the evil forces that run amok in this world. And he was in charge of putting into decree a law that would make witchcraft a crime, a high punishment, a capital punishment. So you can be charged with death at any moment's notice. This is where hundreds, if not more, women were brutally executed, burned at the stake, right here on this spot. One of the worst witchcraft hunts in all of European history. But there's a little reminder of this witchcraft hunt. Right over here, hidden behind this sign, is the Witch's Well. The Witch's Well was designed by John Duncan. And it's, as I mentioned, near the site where many witches were burned at the stake. We have two different heads. We have a good witch and a bad witch. The duality between good and evil, and the snake in the middle spouting water. But over here we have a unique type of plant called foxglove. And foxglove also has a duality, because for most of European history, this was used as an ailment for heart disease. So if you had hypertension or some type of heart problem, you'll be given small doses of this. But if you were given large doses of this, it would stop your heart. So it's both the medicine and the poison, good and evil, combined into one. He commemorates people executed for witchcraft here from 1500s to the 1600s. And witch trials were a little bit earlier, and the last one was 1727. Last witch executed in Scotland was 1727. Possibly hundreds of those convicted witches were strangled and burnt at the stake on the execution grounds. And 1894 is when this was sculpted over here. Wow. Susan says I have foxglove in my garden. Well, be sure not to eat too much. It was a very sad part of its history because now we're entering what's called the Old Town. And the Old Town was built within the confines of the city walls. So Edinburgh Castle has all the walls all around it. And within those walls was only a mile, square mile. That square mile is where they at first crammed 10,000 people, which is not too bad. It's cozy. But then the population rose, 20,000, 30,000, 40,000. And by the 1600s, people here were living in some of the worst conditions in all of Europe. That's where certain disease, like the Black Plague, spread. But beyond that, it's also a unique place for a history buff, because where we're about to walk is where, if you have seen a movie that takes place in New York City in the 1600s, or actually not New York City 1600s, but New York City in the 1700s, it's shot over here. Or 1800s as well, shot over here. Shows, I think like a show like Alienist. I think Alienist was filmed here, but there's many others. Dolores says slums with big fat rats, indeed. Big fat rats, yeah. This is the Camera Oscura. Here's like a funhouse mirror type of exhibition. It's been around for a while. BA says I couldn't get into the Alienist. The book is much better in my opinion. Not so much the Hi, how's it going? Yeah.
I'm just an ordinary person. I belong to a photography group.
Oh, okay.
And so we're doing street photography.
Oh, you are? Okay.
So I just trying to take loads of pictures.
Oh, that's awesome. Oh.
Is that all right?
Yeah, that's okay.
But
yeah.
that's fine.
Well, what's your blog?
Just carried on.
What's your blog?
I don't have one.
Oh, okay.
I don't have one, but I've now retired from work.
Yeah.
And I'm aiming to sort of do Instagram. Where are you from then?
I'm from New York. Yeah.
I was there in 2019. Absolutely.
Beautiful place. Have a good day.
Anyway,
Bye-bye.
sorry.
No worries. Bye-bye. Sorry, someone caught me off guard. They were taking a photograph directly at me. No, they were taking a photograph of me. Apparently the woman does street photography. I found it so distracting. So here we hear the bagpipes in the distance. Marina says your my beanie is also Scottish blue, ironically. Oh, I didn't even notice this. The owl almost blends into the... No, David, no, it was not that. No. Different person. Wow, beautiful.
Get back! There's a car coming up! Move in!
Beautiful. Macaulay says, is it normal to see so many tourists around? I'm surprised there's that many tourists around. No, I'm not sure. I visited UK 4 years ago, and I didn't see that many tourists in London, at least. So I'm kind of shocked to see a lot of tourists here. Sounds amazing. And we hear more bagpipes in the distance. You have to interview the kilted coaches. They run around shirtless with just kilts and make videos. Kilted coaches. What type of videos do they make, David? You let me know. It's a wedding? McCulley's, have you seen a lot of Scottish cashmere? You asked the perfect time, McCulley's, because we are going to be surrounded by cashmere at the Royal Mile. There's so many different cashmere shops. Here we see Kiltane. There is cashmere literally everywhere. We're gonna see it as we're walking through. But before we go down the Royal Mile, so a little context. Edinburgh has the longest running, continuously running Freemason lodge in the world. And I was so shocked to see this, but here Freemasonry is so commonplace that there is a shop. Yep, there's just a shop for Freemasons right over here. You can buy the signet rings, you can buy anything you would like. A lot of people waiting up here. They got a lot of, show you from the outside. Wow, lots of people. I am shocked how full it is. I was here Wednesday and it was empty. It was like no one around on Wednesday during the day. What? Someone earlier told me that the Scottish, is this some type of English holiday? Like Spaniards and French people as well. So maybe there's some type of holiday happening. Lilac, nice to see you here. Gary says, one of the best walks in Edinburgh. Oh, yeah. Bernard says, lots of people because of the rugby match. French tourists. There's a big rugby match happening. Hey, Laureen said, I sent you a PayPal. So happy to see you live. Oh, thank you so much, Laureen. Friday starts the weekend, says Camilla. Well, I mean, obviously, but no, this is quite full. The city's not that big in population. It's, the metropolitan area is only about 500,000. Not that many. Six Nations rugby this weekend. So a lot of people are saying rugby. Susie says, get yourself a Scottish turtleneck. I gotta find out what are the best men's shops here, because here this is a very touristy street. So there's a whole lot of shops charging quite a bit of money. The police for some reason. AM says we tend to finish work early. You do on Fridays. So that's interesting. Nicole says, I'm planning to visit Edinburgh one day. Yes, there is a Parthenon area, I think what the column says, Theo. There is indeed some marble columns. So there's a lot of fine Scottish cashmere. Here's Pringle. That apparently is by appointment to Her Majesty the Queen. This is called Gladstone's Land. And this is a very well-preserved building from the 1600s. Tenements. These tenements were interesting because they had different classes of floor, because there would be sometimes 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 basements down below. All the way to the very top, there was different classes. The very first levels were very poor individuals. In the middle, you had the upper classes. Middle class, maybe on the more upper floors, and all the way in the very top you had very poor people again, all in one singular building. And Gladstone's Land is actually a place where you can visit the old tenements. So it's a tenement museum up there. I'll be publishing a video of it soon. Stay tuned. Also a ice cream shop, which is some reason I can't explain why. Cashmere. Cynthia, right now are doors right below that go further and further down. So there is an entire what people call, but a lot of people are crammed in the basements without any windows whatsoever. Let's go through one of the closest. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. Close. Close. Lady Stairs Close. These closes, basically alleyways. The reasons they call them close, one of the main reasons I heard is it's because they used to close a gate here at night because they would be private yards or private residence. But the more popular version of why it's called the close is because it is very close to each other. A lot of people here. Very, very close to each other. So close to the apartments that people can shake hands. And here we are. We escaped the hustle and bustle. I've gone to a little place of peace. Hazel says it's pronounced close. No, in New York, I don't think any American city really has closes. David says it's sort of a backyard. In a way, yeah. Well, I think this would be called a court. The closes, I think, are the pathways to the courts. And we can see the tenements from behind. I will be posting a video of it soon. Stay tuned. on TikTok, Ariel Vieira, or Facebook, Urbanist Live. And this is the Writers Museum. Fortunately, it's closed at the moment. But here, War Poets Corner. Sweet be their sleep now wherever they're lying, far through they may be from the hills of their home. Audrey says, Robert Burns. Oh, thank you so much for letting us know. And Marina says, Sean Connery had a great Scottish accent. Yep, he's from Edinburgh. So he had an Edinburgh accent. In NYC, it's called scaffolding, says Ron. Yeah, well, that's how we get our interesting passageways. Read out the poem on the parrot statue. Where is the parrot statue? Audrey, let me know. So quiet compared to the main street. Oh yeah, it's very hectic on the main street. So let's continue. Oh, there's something really cool here as well. Yeah, let's show you this. So we're gonna be zigzagging a whole lot around here because there is another little secret around here. Oh, here it is. This is another one. This is Deacon Brody's house. This gentleman over here was Deacon Brody, one of the finest locksmiths in Edinburgh. He can make any lock, and very hard to break, or maybe even impregnable locks. He was very renowned in this city until he had a little bit of a gambling issue. Yeah, Deacon Brody abused too much and lost too much money in gambling. Hey Mala, thank you so much for the $50 super chat. That's super generous of you. Thank you so much for the $50 super chat. Everyone, a huge round of hearts to Mala for the very generous $50 super chat. You will be sponsoring one of the cool videos that I will be doing of some type of haggis, some type of iron brew, some type of food. Stay tuned. Thank you so much. So Deacon Brody was obsessed with gambling and lost a lot of money. So one day he decided to pick a lock of a bank that he used to work for, and he was successful. This got him the idea. Wait a minute, if I can make any lock, I can break any of them that I wanted to. So he decided to break all the locks. He hired a huge gang of criminals to run a lock-breaking ring that would break the locks of many of the rich people of Edinburgh. This ended up becoming very bad, and people got wind of it. They found out that it was Deacon Brody charged and executed. This gave the idea to a man named Robert Louis Stephens, who is one of the most famous Scottish in literary history, because gave him the idea of a man who had quite a dual personality. By day, he was an honorable man who would help humankind. By night, evil of darkness. That story, of course, is Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, where Deacon Brodie was the direct inspiration. The cafe was originally Deacon Brodie's workshop. The vaulted ceiling in the kitchen dates back from 1420 and is one of the oldest in Edinburgh. This part of the building was the brew house for the Abbey, which occupied this site. The Thistle Room upstairs is a part of DB's dwelling. An ornate ceiling dates back from 1645. So 1420, the vaulted ceiling is from. Wow. Catherine says that was quite a mouthful. Yeah, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, quite a mouthful. Try to say that 10 times over. Oh. And here we have the Celtic Lodge, the Freemasons Lodge. All right, let's continue down. All right, we're gonna backtrack to go to another cool secret. Well, not secret, but if you're just wandering around, you might not bump into it if you're sticking to the main sites. DS says, oh no, I'm late. I was watching your videos from Italy. Oh wow, we have here Riddle's Court. Enclosed lived here David Hume before settling in James Court, in court beyond Bale Macmorran. David Hume lived here. Let's check it out. Hey Ariel, thank you so much for the stars. Inspired Life says, Lord Ariel, I bow before your gimbal. Thank you so much, I appreciate that. Wow, my ancestors to Nova Scotia. Oh, that's amazing. Enjoying this very much, says Catherine. I'm so glad you are. Audrey, oh, thank you so much for the extra fact. Yeah, so Deacon Brodie was a very good engineer, and he designed the gallows in which he was hung as well. So, yeah, quite a story. Mir says, if you go into Backhouse Close, you'll be standing in an Outlander famous filming location. Ooh, I'm glad there's a Outlander filming location here. Backhouse Close. Okay, I'll keep an eye out. Don't know if you're into it. It's great. A lot of people love it. All right, let's go down here. The architecture is amazing, says Dolores. Oh yeah, beautiful architecture all around here. And these are kind of the coolest thing I've seen. Lots of Harris tweed all around. And you can buy Harris tweed wallets, purses, caps. Oh. Look at this little cafe called Hideout Cafe. Oh, that's beautiful. Old Victoria Street. Dorino, thank you so much for the BGN20. I remember doing the translation of that. I think it was like $4. Thank you so much for the BGN20. Dorina, do let me know what BGN is again. Lori says that coffee shop looked cute. Yeah, it did. It was nice that it was hidden. But here we go. This is Victoria Street. This is the street where a lot of people take their Instagrams, usually downstairs. Orgal says it's Diagon Alley. Yeah, so J.K. Rowling, who wrote Harry Potter, apparently was directly inspired by many locations here in Edinburgh. She got the idea for Harry Potter while taking a train over to Scotland. So there's a lot of references to Scotland. There's also a lot of references to Edinburgh, and there's also a lot of filming locations all around Scotland that is directly related to Harry Potter. Catherine says, what was your first meal in Scotland? Ooh, this is a great question. What did I eat first in Scotland? Ironically, it was unfortunately things here close pretty early. For example, I went to a pub yesterday and closed at 9 p.m., which was crazy early. So I had to buy something late. So I bought myself a pizza. Lauren says, there's a lot of places she used to write. Yep. Unfortunately, the cafe that she's most associated with, what is it called, the Tiger Lily, is closed at the moment. I wish I could visit it. Hope you're enjoying Scotland so far, says Ian. Oh, it's a beautiful country. I'm loving it. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Be on the search for haggis, says MDN. I will be featuring haggis one way or another. Ian says the cafe recently had a fire and it's closed. Oh, this sucks to hear about the cafe having a fire. How different is a Scottish breakfast from an English breakfast? Asked Adam. Great question. I don't know yet fully. I know there's one difference because when you start making the difference between Scottish, English, Northern Irish, or Ulster fry, and Irish breakfast, the differences are very minute. So for any of the Scots out there, do let me know what does Scottish breakfast have that's different from English breakfast. Janet says, oh no, scaffolding. Yep, there's scaffolding, unfortunately. So this street is called, this street is also called Grassmarket, aside from called Victoria Street. Ian says haggis may be included and black pudding too. Interesting. Thank you so much for letting us know. How does the air smell? Says Maureen. I smell fish and chips because I think there's a big fish and chip shop nearby. Yeah, it smells a lot like fish and chips. So you feel like I smell deep fried potatoes. It smells really good actually. Wow. Catherine, you're asking, am I getting the hang of the Scottish accent? You know, that's a great question. Scottish accent, surprisingly, isn't as hard to understand as certain Irish accents were from my perspective. So I've been having an easy time understanding a Scottish accent. And that includes going up to the Highlands, which I did yesterday. I went very far up and still understood everyone very easily. I found Irish a little bit more harder to understand in some parts. Wow, beautiful men's shop here. Walter Slater. This was recommended to me by a few leather makers here that I went to a few days ago. I'll be coming back here, check it out. Maybe get myself a Harris tweed jacket. Ooh, they even have a cardigan. Ian says accents depend on where you're in Scotland. Yeah, I can imagine if you start going to the islands, it might be becoming very difficult. Especially when there's more Scots Gaelic being spoken. Lots of clothing stores here. Audrey says that cardigan was made for you. Oh yeah, I can't wait to go there a little bit later. So moderators, yes, emojis are allowed as long as it's not someone spamming. And usually a lot of people are not spamming, so yes. What is this? Cheese toasties. Oh, you're still open?
Yeah.
Yeah? Oh, awesome.
No problem.
I'm looking for Scotch. Perfect. I've tried the basic. Yeah, which one do you recommend?
I'd recommend the haggis one.
Oh, okay, I'll try
It's
the
a mix
haggis.
of pork sausage meat and the haggis together. It's gorgeous.
Perfect. And what else is proper Scottish that is takeout food that I can eat quickly?
With the Scotch eggs as well?
Yeah.
Definitely black pudding. That's a very Scottish thing.
Oh, interesting. Black pudding. Okay, I'll try the
Yeah.
black pudding. All right,
Now,
perfect.
Are they okay in the same bag?
Same bag is perfect, yeah.
Certainly. Hi there. Is there anything else in there?
That's all.
No problem. I hope you enjoy it.
To complete the meal.
It's so good. But it's gorgeous.
Wonderful.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Oh, you're very welcome.
Have a receipt as well.
Aye, of course. Just so it's asking to insert your card. It's just for your PIN number. Everyone's doing this because we're swiping.
Oh, you're swiping. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, no worries.
That is lovely. I'm just going to get a wee signature for you.
Sure.
So if I could just get a wee signature. Thank you.
Have a great day.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye. Excuse me. Oh, cool. All right. All right, I'm gonna, yeah, beautiful accent. The Scottish accent is amazing. Truly, truly amazing. So let's try a Scotch egg and a black pudding. That is quite a lot of food. I'm gonna try a bite of each, but we're gonna have our first haggis experience via Scotch egg form, and then I'll later in another place have a proper Scotch egg. Stay tuned. I mean, a proper haggis. So Scotch eggs usually is an egg like with a lot of pork around it. Let me know which one's which. And they're breaded as well. So here we have this. Adam, you asked, so is there any place to sit? No, there's no place to sit. No, this is a to-go place. But luckily they have a little stand here to put stuff on. All right, let's try this out. I'm not sure which one's this one because they look exactly the same. I think this is the black pudding one. This is the haggis one. Egg right there in the middle. Not runny, of course, because runny would be weird for that Scotch egg, I think. On its own. Let's see if it's good. Is it hot? No, it's not hot. Served room temperature. Or cool. It's served cool. Which is usually the case. Sometimes you can find them hot. Or I can heat them up at my lodging. I would prefer it hot, but the haggis is super creamy. Haggis, if you don't know, it's made out of a bunch of different parts from a host of different animals, such as pork lungs, made from liver. Sometimes it includes the heart. It includes a whole different variety of animal parts. It could be from a pork, it could be from a lamb, it could be from a cow, it could be a combination of all those. So here we have haggis. I'm not sure what type of haggis this is. It doesn't taste too livery, so I don't think there's that much liver in here. It tastes more creamy. I think there's a lot more lungs in here. The breading is very good, not super greasy. Maybe because it's cool, so it doesn't get too super greasy. And there is the egg. It's a really good treat. I like it. I was a little bit worried that this was going to be too heavy, but no, this is actually perfect. This could go well with the iron brew. Whoa. That was really good. All right, I'm gonna try the black pudding next. MDN says, what spices? So yeah, the haggis is also mixed with spices. The spices could vary. And spices could be nutmeg, it could be cinnamon, it could be a whole different spices. Let's try this one. Uh-oh. I think I got confused, ladies and gentlemen. I take it back. This is black pudding. That's why it tastes so creamy. Black pudding is basically blood sausage. So it's coagulated blood sausage. That's why it was so creamy. This should be haggis, because now I'm tasting the funk. Oh yeah. Christoph says, do the greasy balls taste good? They do taste good, yeah. They're not too greasy, though. Oh, no. I taste the funk now, yeah.
I want one of those.
Yeah, they're very good. Yeah. Wow. So, yeah, this one tastes a little bit more meaty. Not like black pudding, which is much more creamier. It has a lot of pork, so it's probably a pure pork Scotch egg. Whoa. I like it. This is a good Scotch egg. Wow. Is it illegal to take this back to the States? Yeah, you can't take haggis back to the States because US and Canada have a ban on importing lungs. Because in the US they believe that this could spread tuberculosis. Apparently, in the past 100 years since that has been a law in the US, I'm not sure when it came into law in the US, I think it was the mid-1900s. No one here in Scotland has ever gotten tuberculosis from haggis. So that's the reason why I can't bring this. If I bring this, I will be stopped at customs and interrogated by Homeland Security or the Department of Agriculture, actually. I'm so hungry. I've deeply enjoyed this. Wow. You know that Scotch eggs were invented in Fortnum and Mason's store, says the fowl. I did not know that. Do let me know if there's other reasons. Deb says mad cow disease was also the reason. It's pork lungs and lamb lungs that were not allowed. Well, I assume any type of lung, but those were specified. So mad cow disease is from the cow. Who else is making strange faces as Ariel describes the funk? It's a good funk. Wow. That was really good. I did not expect that to be that good. But one of the best Scotch eggs I've had. I've had a few Scotch eggs. I tried them in Borough Market, tried them in New York City. There's a few shops that sell Scotch eggs, but this one, exceptional. Try this place. Let me show you the name. Wow. I.G. Mellis. I.J. Mellis. Ooh. So good. I might come back later and have it at my lodging heated up because I assume heated up will have a different flavor to it. They also have pork sausages. I mean, pork rolls. Sausage rolls, I mean. Ooh. Joanne says, what do you mean by the funk? The funk is, it's hard to describe. I'm not sure. Like, it's not like a cheesy funk. It's not like a liver funk. It was like a light liver funk. Like, just very light. It's that type of funk. And if you ever had liver, it's like slight. This one wasn't too heavy. That's why I was kind of aiming. I.J. Mellis. Lauren says, the funk is the idea of it. Yep, I can imagine. Wow, that was so good. I'm so satisfied. I will be coming back. They also have cheese. Look at this. The Enchanted Galaxy of Harry Potter and Star Wars. And my namesake, The Little Mermaid. Oh yeah, someone earlier mentioned how camera savvy the Scots are. Yeah, yeah, just all around in the UK, people are pretty used to the camera. But I'm getting a lot of stares because there's a lot of foreigners here. And I've seen Spaniards and Italians, and they're the ones staring. So yeah, luckily in the UK, it's a very easy place to live stream. Not too many stairs, not too much issues, and you can easily walk into shops and things like that. So it's a great place for vloggers. Wow, witchery tours. It's a witch shop. Here's a retailer of officially licensed Harry Potter merchandise. Ooh, cool. Harry Potter store for all the Potterheads out there. I love this. Okay, everyone. This is a very important plaque. Very important. You gotta pay attention. On this site, September 5th, 1782, nothing happened. Oh my God. Here.
On en profite. Viens, on fait une photo. Désolé.
Someone said earlier said, "Are you going to show us a kilt shop?" I'll do my best if I can walk into one, but here we see it from the outside, a kilt shop. There are some very high-end kilt makers here. I'll see if I can pass by one.
Ah oui, ouais, d'accord.
Ooh, now it's getting cold again. Oh, look at this. Harris tweed footwear. Huh. Macaulay's asked, is tweed itchy? I think it could be because it's wool. So yeah, I think tweed could be itchy. But I don't think people wear tweed directly on the skin. Usually, like, it's a tweed jacket, and the inside liner of the jacket is made with another material. It might be a synthetic material if you're buying it on the cheaper end, like nylon or polyester, or more higher end silk if you're buying on the higher end. I don't think people wear tweed directly on their skin because it's very thick fabric. Oh, this is Maggie Dickens. Very famous woman of Edinburgh as well, notorious. I'll tell you a little bit about her. This is a pub named after her. And it says, in 1723, let me find my hat. Hey, Andrea, thank you so much for tuning in. Welcome to Edinburgh. Let's learn about Maggie Dickens. 1723, Maggie Dickens, a fish hawker in Edinburgh, left town to visit relatives after being deserted by her husband. On the way south, she stopped off at Kelso at the inn to break the journey. She stayed at a while and worked in return for board and lodgings. While she was there, Maggie formed a relationship with the landlady and her son and fell in love and pregnant with this child. This was not her contact of employment, so she concealed the fact that she was expecting, and in time that the child was born prematurely. When the baby died a few days later, she was determined to throw the body into the River Tweed. Losing her nerve, she laid the baby at the water's edge. Oh no. So apparently she killed the baby because it was born premature. Maybe it had terrible complications that she couldn't really handle. The body was discovered later that day and traced back to Maggie. Arrested and trialed under the 1690 Concealment of Pregnancy Act, she was sentenced to be hanged at the Grassmarket in Edinburgh. So this is where it gets even crazier. She was sentenced to be hanged and buried, of course, because she killed her newly born child that was born prematurely. Most likely, I would give Maggie the benefit of the doubt. The child had such terrible complications that she felt like she had no other choice. And also, it would have been very tough because she also ran into issues having a child out of wedlock. It would have been a very bad issue in a country that was still very religious at the time. So she was hung. She was buried. They end up taking the coffin. The family was there mourning her loss, and they hear a knock in the coffin. They're frightened. They have no idea what's happening. Did Maggie's ghost already return? No, Maggie didn't die. She was still alive. This was tricky for the courts because she was technically already, her sentence was already followed through. She was already hung and put into a coffin. So technically she was already executed. So she couldn't be sentenced for a second time. Maggie got scot-free. I wonder if that term is actually derived from Scotland, but she was scot-free because she couldn't be sentenced twice. So Maggie survived, and there's a little bit more of the story. Let me read one extra little part at the end. Let me go back. Oh, they don't say the other part. But it says, recovering to full health, she was allowed to live, and it was seen to be God's will that she survived. Oh, she was always called, this was the extra part. She was always called Half-Hangit Maggie. Half-Hangit Maggie. So there we go. After that incident, Scottish law was changed in order to put, when you're executed, you're not hanged, you're not hung, you're not hanged, you're hanged to death. So you have to wait till the person dies in order to carry out the full sentence. Right across the street is apparently one of the better cashmere shops. I was doing some research on best cashmere, and this one always pops up in the list, Hawiko. Lauren says, Mary's Milk down at the end does amazing ice cream. Thank you so much for the recommendation. And then do let me know, where's a Mars bar, deep fried Mars bar. Let us know if we find any deep fried Mars bars here. Where can I find one that's very nearby for all the Edinburghers and Scots-Tunian? Her neck must hurt since then, says Ron. I think so, yeah, I think so. I think that's the case, yeah. Cynthia says, I'm a Scot by heart, says Cynthia. Oh, that's good to hear. I'm glad you feel like a Scot by heart. Catherine says, Maggie was quite a pain in the neck. Well, maybe she was. There must be beautiful Shetland wool sweaters in these shops. Yes, the Shetland wool sweater. Very famous type of sweater. I'm falling in love with this place, says Inspired Life. I'm so glad you are, Inspired Life. That's awesome to hear. Yeah, me too. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous city. All right, let's see if Mary's Milk is still open. Oh, Mexican restaurants in Scotland? For some reason, there's a lot. I've seen like 5. I have no idea why there's so many Mexican restaurants. I love Mexican food, but I'm like genuinely shocked to see Mexican food here. Oh my God, there's an American pizzeria. What? That's funny. Look, American style pizza, ladies and gentlemen. What? Lori says, I would like to own a Shetland jumper, but it's big expensive. Are they? I know like in the US, a Shetland wool jumper, which is a knitted sweater for anyone who doesn't know, that specifically comes from an area of Scotland called the Shetland Islands. In the US, they can go, I think you could buy something as low as 100, but usually the better ones are about 200, 300. Wow. So here we get to see the full scale of Edinburgh Castle, the castle on the rock. So who is a Game of Thrones fan? Let me know. Because you might be wondering, wait a minute, this seems familiar if you're a fan of Game of Thrones. You might remember the Lannisters. And also, same thing with the family that was from the coastline where the king in the beginning was from. Let me remind me of his name. The family of Stannis. Baratheon, there we go, the Baratheons. You might remember the Baratheons and the Lannisters, but specifically the Lannisters. The Lannisters in the show had their castle on the rock in the middle of their city. The Lannisters are literally from Edinburgh. So as we explore Scotland and Ireland, those two places specifically are the places where George R.R. Martin derived so much inspiration from when it came to his work in Game of Thrones. So a lot of locations here are directly taken and put into Game of Thrones. So let's cross the street. Let's wait until people pass. Goat cheese. Oh my God, goat cheese ice cream. Oh wow. Okay. They want masks. Some places really are specific about wearing the masks, which is different from London. London, no one cared. Chicken marmalade. Hi, I'll have 2 scoops, please. The goat cheese. Cheese, and then I'll have the whiskey. That's all. And the receipt, please, as well. Thank you. Beautiful. Thank you so much. Have a great day. All right. Let me remove my mask because that looks good. Yeah, looks very good. Very good quality. Here is, hey, how's it going? Here's the huge ice cream. We have goat cheese with a candied greens. I'm not sure what the green candied is, and a whiskey marmalade. And I'm not sure if they made marmalade using orange. We'll see. But thanks to Lauren, who is one of the longest running Scott viewers out there. We have a lot of Scott viewers that have been tuning in for a very long time. Lauren, Ian, both of them are tuning in right now, but Lauren recommended this. So let's try this out. Mary's Ice Cream. Homemade, look gorgeous. Beautiful place as well. It's called green walnuts. Okay, thank you so much, Pablo. Green walnuts. Green candy walnuts. Thank you. Whoa. The whiskey one. The one on the top is whiskey. And oh my, that is a shot of whiskey in there. I'm having a wee dram of whiskey with my ice cream, basically. My first whiskey of Scotland. Super creamy, fluffy like Italian gelato. It's not American style, it's more like Italian gelato style. So it's fluffy. It tastes very fresh. I can tell that they're using very good quality milk. Has a whiskey flavor throughout. The whiskey is not overpowering though. It captures the best part of the whiskey, which is when you take that first sip, you get that nice taste to it, but it doesn't get the burn that you get from drinking the whiskey. So it's the best part of the whiskey made into ice cream. Wow. That's delicious. So let's try this is amazing. Shout out to you, Lauren. Thank you so much for the amazing recommendation. Mary's Milk Bar. Now let me try the goat cheese. Goat milk. I am a huge fan of goat ice cream. If you never had goat or sheep ice cream, do so immediately, as soon as you can. There's a lot of places, or not a lot of places, but it's rare. But if you find it, try it out. Because goat dairy, oh, so good. All right, let's try it out. Oh my God. Oh yeah. Mmm. Oh. Bring down the funk. Oh, that's so funky. In the best way possible. And it's the goat funky. This funky is more closer to the cheesy funky. Oh, that's a good funk. Oh yeah, I love that. So you got the funkiness of the goat. Goat's milk is just the best thing ever. The funkiness of the goat. I like how the walnuts are candied. They're nice. Not overly sugary. Has a little bit of a sweetness to it. And then I think, I'm not sure if they put like a walnut marmalade or something like that, because you get a little bit more walnut all around the ice cream. Wow. Oh, that's so funky in the best way possible. The funkiest ice cream there ever was. Susie says ice cream should never be funky. No, I disagree. A wee dram of whiskey, which means there's just a little bit of whiskey with some funk. Best way to enjoy an ice cream. Wow, this is amazing. Wow, blown away. I'm not sure what they did here with the goat cheese walnuts. Somehow they made like a walnut marmalade or something like that, because there's like extra sauce or honey that's covering the goat cheese. I'm in love with this ice cream. I usually don't like ice cream. I thought Ireland had it won. I thought no one is ever going to compete with the great ice creams of Ireland. The ones from Dingle. Was it Murray's? That was the name? Murray's ice cream, I think it was the name. Some of the best ice cream I've ever had in my life. This one comes very close. Very close to that beautiful ice cream from Ireland. Some of the best ice cream I've tried. Imagine that type of ice cream would be easier for people who are lactose intolerant. Yep, that's exactly why I got it. I'm sensitive to cow's milk, but how I love goat's milk or sheep's milk. Really good. So yeah, this is better for lactose intolerant, because cow's milk is what really makes people react who are lactose intolerant. Dawn says, I'm on heaven. Indeed I am. Hey, maybe go back and meet the lady who served you and marry her, says Catherine. Yeah, very, 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 very nice wee bonny lasses. As the Scots would like to say, wee bonny lasses. Wee means little, or it could be affectionately little, not like actually little. Like my wee brother. Could be both my little brother, but also be my brother that I just affectionately think he's my little brother. And then bonny, I think, is a term for a woman, and a lass is also a term for a woman. Hey Irene, nice to see you here. B. Griffin says, I did not know that about cow's milk. Yeah, and goat's milk, yeah. The goat milk is taking all the... Bonnie's beautiful. Okay, thank you so much, Lauren. So, wee is little, bonnie is beautiful, and lass is a woman. A wee bonnie lass is a beautiful little woman. So, if you were to translate the great American novel Little Women, they'll be called Wee Lasses. That'll be the Scottish version of Little Women. Wee Lasses. Adam asks, how much does a kilt cost? You can buy a kilt as cheap, I think, as like 30 pounds. Or you can get one custom for like 500 pounds. Or you can get one made to order. Hey, you can get one made to order for even more expensive, for 2,000 pounds. So yeah, there's a huge range. All right, don't mind me as I have a few more bites of this ice cream, specifically the goat one. I like the whiskey one, but the goat is just singing in my taste buds. And then we're gonna continue walking around down the Royal Mile. Murphy's ice cream. Thank you so much. Murphy's ice cream. Thank you so much. Okay, so Murphy's ice cream, still the best, but this pretty high up there. I gotta maybe reassess. I gotta think about it, let it go down. I'll come back to you because I had some amazing gelato in Italy, in Rome specifically. So Murphy's is right now the best ice cream I've ever had in my life. This one and the Rome ones, they're in the top 5. I'll get back to you. And it's cold. Perfect day for ice cream. Go ahead, indulge, says Catherine. Yeah. Wow. Susie says, my lunch break is coming soon. Keep going. Let me know a Scottish expression for... I know the British overall are understated. I think the Scots are as well. But let me know what's... Rather than saying, oh, that's rather nice. Let me know. Is there a proper Scottish expression for this is awesome? Or for what English would say, oh, this is rather nice. Let me know. Is there a Scottish expression? Rosalind says, I think he likes it. I do. I'm truly impressed. Wow. Lauren says, that's bra. That's bra. That's bra. Interesting expression. Julio says, magic. It's brilliant. Bra, says Sharon. Okay, bra. Interesting. Bra. What does bra mean? I mean, like, where does it come from? Where is it derived from? Deb says champion. Ooh. Audrey says it's really good. Yes. It's scran. Scran, says Catherine. Ian says, oh, it's fine or good. Yeah, I mean, I that is very English. I'm not sure if the Scots are the same with the very understatement. But yeah, in England, that would be rather good. That would be quite good. Pretty nice. That had quite a high alcohol content because I feel like a tad of alcohol effect. Just a wee alcohol effect. That's what I am experiencing right now. So I think that had quite a high alcohol content, that ice cream. So don't give it to your kids. Not the whiskey one. Give them the goat cheese one. All right, let's go back. Muhammad says, go to the castle. After this video, go to the beginning of the video and you'll see the castle. So our man in Volterra says, bra derives from brea, or the Scots equivalent meaning good or great. Oh, I love that. Thank you so much. That is truly a proper Scottish term. I was a little bit worried that was going to be some type of slang from England, but no, that's proper Scottish. Thank you so much. Bra. That's bra. Just sounds so similar to the American. What's up, brah? Ida says, I love your descriptions. I'm so glad you do, Ida. My granddaughter and I just reviewed the food on Irish Food and Stew, and she enjoyed it so much. I'm so glad you enjoyed that video of the Irish stew. Lori says, don't give that ice cream to any kids. Yeah, don't give them to kids. Ooh, look at this. Beautiful knitwear. Wow. Belfast. That's when you're going to Belfast. I already did go to Belfast. Check out my videos. Established in 1977, this place, Bill Barber. Beautiful, wow. We have a lot of people in France hats. So is the rugby game between France and Scotland? Adam, is there a price for a kilt? As I mentioned, Adam, kilts could be super cheap, 20, 30 pounds, all the way to 2,000 pounds. Wow, gorgeous sweater, says Marina. I agree, that is a gorgeous sweater. No internet says you should check out Glencoe. I did check out my video from yesterday. All right, let's go back up. Irene says, are you going to buy a kilt? I don't think so, because I would not wear it any other time. Lauren says it's France versus Scotland. Oh, that's why there's so many French people here. Jean says Elephant Cafe not far away from you. Yeah, is that the one? Diane says you should go to Loch Lomond. I did check out the video from yesterday. Wendy says, I see guys wear kilts on occasion in Seattle. Interesting. Want some proper fish and chips? Here are Bertie's. Lori says, so many wonderful shops here. Yeah, do come a little bit earlier because it seems like shops here close early in the day. Lauren says, where are you after Edinburgh? Stay tuned. 3 p.m. You'll be seeing places. Let's go through here. Here we have the National Library of Scotland. Ida says, Scotland looks so beautiful, how the world is so beautiful and harmonious. Yeah, it was nice to see the harmony here. It wasn't always like that. As I mentioned earlier, there's been some dark history with Edinburgh, with Scotland overall. Wow. Hey, how's it going? Hi.
That's nice.
Yes.
Very nice.
Doing a live video. How's it going? Yeah.
We change.
What?
Jenny one. This one you want?
New?
Yeah, this one.
What?
You want one?
No, it's
can
okay.
change.
No, it's perfect. Have a good day. It was a random Frenchman. It was a random Frenchman. They were all amazed by the gimbal. One of them, that one, popped up a little tripod. He's like, "Hey, want to change?" Yeah. B. Griffin. No, he was joking around. French humor. It's a very different humor. MDN says dry French humor. Indeed, yeah, very dry. You can't tell. David says he sounded like he had one too many ice creams. Yeah, maybe. I think that might be the case. So earlier we mentioned briefly David Hume. This guy is a famous philosopher, famous for playing billiards. And he came up with a theory about the scientific method. Wow, we got so many people coming. I'm shocked by these crowds. Does it get even more full in the summer? Do let me know. Irene says scaffoldings are following you everywhere. Indeed. Hi, Bull. Nice to see you here. Welcome. His Sam's or because the courthouse is right here. Did the match just come out? Says Morgan. I don't know. Yeah, it's a lot of people in the street wandering around. A lot of French people. Valerie says that is quiet. You should see it when it is the Edinburgh Festival. Oh yeah. So there is the military tattoo, which is a huge event, and there's the Edinburgh Fringe Festival, which is a very big event as well. One of the biggest events of comedy, music, theater, all mixed together. Gary says there'll be lots of people in kilts tomorrow. Oh, that's great to hear. So this is, oh, actually I was gonna tell you about David Hume. So David Hume did an experiment, a philosophical experiment, where he played billiards. And he said that every time you hit one ball to the other, it always hits, not hits. But how do you know that it is you affecting the ball being hit, or is it the ball itself affecting the other ball? There's a lot of balls here. But the point is that he mentioned that in science, yeah, you can experiment and can always get the same type of results, but how do you know that the results are not being affected the other way? It's kind of a little bit of a mind F, as we like to say. He does kind of have a point. We have a busker, yeah, someone's singing opera. You are in the heart of Scotland, says Audrey. Yeah. All right, before I show you more, let's see if I can get into St. Giles Cathedral. Let me see if they allow me in with the camera. So St. Giles Cathedral is the main cathedral of Edinburgh. St. Giles is the patron saint of lepers. Laurie, is the music coming from the church? No, it's coming from the woman singing right over here, right in front. Hi, how's it going? Excuse me. As if I met any Americans. I met one working at the tenements. Hey, Trish says $20 super chat. Oh, Trish, you're so kind. So welcome to St. Giles Cathedral. Thank you so much, Trish. Everyone, huge round of hearts to Trish. It's required. They required you to wear a mask. So thank you so much. I'm glad you're mostly Scottish, and of course, I need to offer you for a lovely meal. Thank you so much. I guess that will show eventually. Stay tuned. Here is the tomb of Robert Louis Stevenson. Robert Louis Stevenson is famous for Treasure Island, but also he's very famous for Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, which we mentioned earlier. That was directly inspired by the locksmith Brodie. This tomb originally was designed with him smoking a cigarette right over here and reading a newspaper Well, wait a minute. That's not a cigarette. Oh, the church did not approve of having Robert Louis Stevenson smoking a cigarette. So they got Stevenson to actually hold a quill, a pen, in order to write down his stories. Morgan, thank you so much for sending 2 Canadians overseas to Scotland. Thank you so much for sending 2 Canadians. I appreciate you. Thank you so much, Morgan. So Ian, yeah, this takes back, well, the church was founded in the 1100s, and this started construction a little bit after that, 1300s, and it took centuries for this to be built. And then they significantly restored it and changed a few things in the 1900s. Hey Evan, I don't discuss politics nor current news, so all I'll say is that here things feel normal, feel calm. Look at those chandeliers, they're breathtaking. Nikki says I should try the Royal Mile Tavern. Thank you for the recommendation, Nikki. Lauren recommends Scally in Stockbridge. It's a Scottish. I'll try that out. That sounds good. Thank you so much. Trish says, how long is Ariel staying in Scotland? Keep tuning in, 3 p.m. Thursdays to Fridays. B. Griffin says, this is reminding you of Yale. Yeah, Yale University has similar type of stone. Yeah. So this is a mishmash of different styles, because we do have a few different styles, but it's all overall Gothic, just different eras of Gothic throughout. Down there we have the Robert Burns window. And Robert Burns, nicknamed Rabbi, one of the most famous poets from Scotland, he actually popularized Scots in Scotland. There's Scottish English, which is English with a few minor differences. Around there's like we, lass, bonnie, things like that, and different ways to pronounce things sometimes. You have Scots, which was a dialect of English that split off during Middle English 700 years ago. Scots split off from English. So there's a lot of similarities with English, which I'll tell you soon. And then the third one, Scottish Gaelic, which is mostly spoken up further up north. And that's the same Gaelic, or very similar Gaelic to the one that is spoken in Ireland. Barris says, are you planning supper? Do let me know, Barris. I heard something about it briefly. I'm not sure what it is. Right here is a photo of the Queen's coronation visit, 1953. Queen Elizabeth II, the current Queen. May she live and prosper a very long life. We see her right next to Prince Philip. Macaulay says, can you interact with NPC? In this video game, if I interact with the NPCs, they'll repeat the same things over. For you. Hiya, young traveler. I have a quest for you. Macaulay is making reference to video games. Video game technology is getting so good that some people watch my live streams and they think it's a video game. At least in Facebook, I'm tagged as a video game creator, just so I have benefits to post in 1080p. And for some reason, people get confused and they think this is a video game. Ladies and gentlemen, here's John Knox. John Knox was the reformer of Scotland. He got over for the Dutch, but John Knox is the reformist for the Scots. He's the one who set up the Church of Scotland, which is in the same communion with the Church of England, but still different. The Church of Scotland is actually more closely associated with Episcopals in the US. So John Knox, harsh reformer here, who wanted to make, he thought that the Catholic Church at that time was way too corrupt, and he wanted to make a more democratic system, or representative system in the church. So the Church of Scotland has a lot of representative democracy built into it. And it's very interesting how they select their bishops and their head of clergy. Very interesting methods. And we still use the same thing Americans still use the same thing in Episcopal churches, or Presbyterian as well. So John Knox was from the 1500s, 1513 to 1572. And here's a to scale statue of him. He's about my height, but he's on the step ladder, so he's just a little bit higher. Someone brought a dog to a church. Interesting. John Knox's house is not too far away. Yeah, we'll talk about that. I'll show it to you. Griffin, it's a little bit more complicated than that because the church, though it is supposed to be an extension of the Church of England, when it was founded, they actually had to be associated with the Church of Scotland because, Americans had a bloody revolution against Britain. So it would have been very awkward to continue to commune with the Church of England, and that's why it's a bit more complicated. But yeah. In essence, today, that's the differentiation. So B. Griffin was referring to Episcopal being Church of England and Presbyterian being the Church of Scotland. So don't be alarmed if someone spits on this. It is common tradition to spit on the heart over here. If anyone could let me know exactly why. But here we see the spit marks. I rarely do this, but there we go. Don't do that in most Western countries. It's just that they do it here. It's a tradition within Scottish people here in Edinburgh. So yeah, but don't do that normally. Susie says there's no reggaeton. No. Barely heard reggaeton in this entire trip. Adam says, would you like to go to a bagpipe museum? I'm not sure if there is one, Adam. So here we have the old Parliament building. Meant to be good luck to spit to the heart of Midlothian. Oh, thank you so much. So Ian, I appreciate that. It's supposed to be good luck to spit on the heart of Midlothian. Let me know, what is Midlothian? I see that word a lot here. Midlothian. I like the sound of it. Is it to melt it? Says Morgan. Yeah, that is a good one. To melt the heart. Architecture, yeah, it is gorgeous architecture of the church. 60 video tour of this, so stay tuned. If you want to see this church in VR, you can see it soon if you're a super urbanist. Let's continue on this way. Lothian is the area. Thank you so much, Ian. So Lothian is the area over here. So we gotta go to the parking lot for one very specific reason. Because not every parking lot is just a mere parking lot. Sometimes secrets lie underneath the parking lot. Just like in England, they found a parking lot with the body of King Richard III, if I'm correct. Well, here they did the same thing. This beautiful parking lot of what used to be the Parliament buildings, they're used for other purposes now, has, on parking lot number 23, has apparently the approximate site of the burial of John Knox. That man's statue that we saw, the great reformer, well, he's still under here. Or they moved his body, I'm not sure, but he was here at some point. So, the great reformer of the Church of Scotland is forever commemorated here in the parking lot. And poor John Knox. I think he deserves a little bit better. We got some popular music. Let me mute for a little bit. Okay, false alarm. It's someone just playing music. Oh, playing covers, yeah. All right, I'm back. The problem is with sometimes there's buskers that play cover songs, but they're using the same exact instrument as the original, and then I also get a copyright notice on that, so I can't monetize the video afterwards. So I avoid now covers if they're very close to the original. Oh, this guy, I think he's giving a Harry Potter tour. So there's a lot of tour groups here in Edinburgh. This is filled with tour guides. Adam says, why is my name written in stone? That gentleman over there in the statue, that is directly inspired the revolutionaries of America. Thomas Jefferson, George Washington, Benjamin Franklin, they all directly inspired by Adam Smith. He was one of the men of the Enlightenment, talked a lot about liberty. And apparently he's also Scottish, so cool history there. I thought the Harry Potter church was in Oxford, says Macaulay's. St. Giles in the Cathedral. St. Giles Cathedral is not the Harry Potter church, but there's a lot of Harry Potter sites in general here. Moz bar? Let me know. You want to try a deep fried Mars bar? Let me know. This is a iconic Scottish treat. I've had deep fried candy bars before, deep fried Oreos, deep fried Reese's. I've had other ones before, but haven't had a Mars bar specifically. So let me know if you want to try it out. Ian says that this is the place. Yeah, clamshell. I've heard that this was the place. So thank you so much, Ian, for confirming. Yeah. So B. Griffin says deep fried Mars bar. Yes, indeed. All right, let's go to deep fried Mars bar. Yeah, they're playing popular music inside. Here it is, a deep fried Mars bar. Kind of looks like a moldy chocolate bar. That's so interesting. Right. This is a delicacy. Okay, so we have one of the finest Scottish delicacies that there is. I decided not to go to a restaurant to eat this. I decided to do a little bit quicker just for the case of the video. But the ultimate of dining. The fried Mars bar. It says Ian, it says needs a little bit of batter. I've seen a few videos about the deep fried Mars bar. Usually it seems like light on the batter. In America, we usually cover it in batter. Thank you so much. I wouldn't have a meat pie here. It strikes me as kind of very, either greasy or buttery. But thank you so much for the meat pie contribution. I will have a meat pie at some point. And hopefully I can find a meat pie with game meat, with some nice venison. I'm trying to find a venison meat pie here, so hopefully I can find one. Let me know if any Edinburghers out there know about venison meat pies. Let's try this out. Try dipping in ketchup. Oh, Barris, that just sounds weird. I'm gonna try it alone. But thank you for the recommendation. Oh my God. I gotta admit, this does not look so appetizing. It looks moldy, but of course it's not mold. It's just batter. It's nice. The breading does not have a good texture. I don't like the breading too much. It has a kind of a paperish texture to it. I'm not sure if it's bad breading that they used, or maybe not the best one, but the inside, it's actually rather appetizing. It's very, very creamy. I'm not sure what the innards of this chocolate bar is. So let me know more of the innards. I mean, yes, I'm going to use that term, or the innards of this chocolate bar. I'm going to have one more bite. I can see the allure. I can see it. But I can't taste it. Yeah. It's rather nice. I mean, I don't mean that in the English sense. I mean that in the American sense. It's okay. It's just a rush of so much sugar. The batter it has a weird paper texture to it. Maybe it's not the best batter. I've had other deep fried candy bars, as I mentioned, that the batter is much more pleasant. The actual candy bar does work well melted. So that's that. You know, if you have had a little bit too many drams of whiskey and it's very late at night, then yeah, maybe try it out. But otherwise, go have ice cream at Mary's ice cream, Mary's Milk Shop nearby. Go to Prince Street and feed it to Bobby the pigeon. Yes. Emoji perfection, says Morgan, referring to another emoji. And Hyde says 3,000 calories. I think it is 1,200 calories. So yeah, it's quite a calorie-packed meal. Eibel says for entertainment. Yeah. Yeah, that was no, won't be having that again. Let's try other things. I'd rather go back to haggis. Give me some more haggis. Give me some deep fried haggis. That's where it's at, ladies and gentlemen. Haggis and goat cheese ice cream. Lydia says, is that place well known for Mars bars? Yes, it is. Yeah, it is. I don't think the birds are gonna like this, so goodbye, deep fried Mars bar. Hyde says yes, local produce is best. Yeah, I mean, I've tried some amazing sandwiches here. There's some great bakeries here in Edinburgh, which if I'll pass by, I'll show you more. But yeah, I've tried some amazing food here. Dolores says, seems sinful to eat such junk in remarkable surroundings. Indeed, yeah, I think that's more appropriate in a different setting. Oh, let's walk through here. Caramel inside the innards of the of the candy bar. Wow, these pubs are so full. Marina, heart on the line. Indeed, indeed. Ah, I think this is the place. Is this the same place you recommended, Lauren? Do let us know. Scran. It's Friday. Pubs will be really busy, says Stuart. Yeah, I'm surprised, Stuart, because someone's throwing a lot of glasses. Someone's recycling. I was surprised. I'm surprised right now because yesterday I went to a pub right in the Royal Mile, and it was empty. There was no one there, and it closed at 9 p.m. I'm not sure if it was that specific bar, but I was just shocked yesterday. Now I'm in reverse shocked today that it is very full. Yeah, that's one. It's grand.
Ouais, je sais, mais comme c'est moins visible.
Which herbs are considered Scottish? Oh, that's a good question. Any Scots, do let us know. What are the typical Scottish herbs? Oh, look at this. One big difference between the Scots and the French, all the French are so heavily staring at me. It's similar to Italy, very heavy staring. Scots don't care, but here the French that I'm encountering just straight on, and they keep going. Like I move and I look at them directly, they keep on staring. It's like, okay, you can stop now. B. Griffin says, I crisscrossing throughout the entire city. So the entire city has a whole lot of alleyways and closes and courts and things like that all around. B. Griffin says, I worry for the French if they visit New York City. Yeah, I mean, it could come into very awkward circumstances if you're from a area that staring is not okay, like in New York. Yeah. Beautiful. Let's continue a little bit down the Royal Mile. There's a lot of places we can go here. The new town is very different to it at some point. Sylvia says, you're such a handsome man, Ariel. Thank you so much. Sylvia, appreciate that. Oh, look at this. This is another Harry Potter store. Beautiful editions of Harry Potter. This one's illustrated. And they even have wands. This is so cool. Wow.
Yes.
Morgan says, well, New York, they'll find out rather fast. Yeah, it's I encountered that in Paris, yeah. I haven't been to other parts of France, but in Paris, and yeah, I encounter that fairly often. Even when you're not in a situation where I'm not like live streaming, talking to a camera, just even a normal day, having a coffee in Paris, you sometimes have Parisian staring for no reason. I'm not like talking about like a woman or a man in a sexual context, but sometimes just a random stare. I'm very curious as to why that's the case, or at least that's been my experience, and that's been the experience of many people I've met. But yeah, that's a big difference. Wow, this light is just gorgeous. So here we're like at a main thoroughfare. Morgan says to have this lighting effect for filming, yeah, it's perfect. Really perfect. Dorina says there isn't that much hustle and bustle like there is in London. No, I mean, this city is fairly small. There's only about 500,000, even less within the city limits. So yeah, it's a very small city. It's supposed to be the 7th biggest city in the UK, 7th biggest. It's the 2nd biggest in Scotland because the first one is Glasgow. All right, let's go to John Knox's house. Wendy says, ooh, that sounds good. Where can I find some lamb and gravy? I bet in many places. Robert says, grab some Indian food. Well, Indian food is amazing in London. I'm not sure if if Edinburgh really has Indian food that's well known. Dishoom has a place here, which is one of the most popular Indian restaurants originally from London. There's one outpost here. I'm also very curious, is there any Indian Scottish fusion? That would be interesting. Good signal here, says Udi. Oh, yes. What time is it in Scotland, says Adam. Ooh, 2 hours and 38 minutes have passed. So it's about 5:30, 5:40. Eibel says, I have some Parisian colleagues, they have strange ways. Yeah, it's different from other nearby European countries. Will you have dinner, says Jimmy. Jimmy, I don't think so. The days of dinner are gone for me. No more dinner. I am now a man of breakfast. Will I have dinner? Yeah, most likely. Will I make a video of it? I'm not sure yet. But I most certainly will be having a dinner. Yeah, so stay tuned. I'll be featuring at least one type of food here. Haggis will be featured in some type of video. Stay tuned. But here we have a few cool things. We have two of possibly the oldest houses in Edinburgh. So right here we have two of the oldest houses in Edinburgh, dating all the way back, still intact to this day. One of them is used as the John Knox, who's buried underneath the parking lot. Well, he did not live here. For some reason they called the house after him, but he actually didn't live here. So you can just imagine Edinburgh being filled with all these houses. It was called All Reekie because there used to be chimneys all around the houses, and all these houses, because they would be in different parts in the apartments within these tenements. So there would be chimneys everywhere, all around. All that would leave an entire layer of soot and grime upon this entire city, calling it Old Reekie. There was the need to clean these chimneys. So they would hire very small children. And unfortunately, at first the chimney makers would have their own kids cleaning the chimneys. Chimney sweeps were their names. And they would take care of them. But then there was people who wanted to get rather entrepreneurial and start maximizing profits with these chimney sweeps. So they hired an entire army of little kids. In order to maximize profits for these little kids, they wanted to maximize the kids going up the chimney, which were very tight spaces, in order to clean them. So they would break their joints and try and make them more flexible. They would do other things, contorting their body. These chimney sweeps, by the time they reached, if they did, 10 years old, 11 years old, 12 years old, they would be horribly deformed. They would not be able to walk. Most of them, at least, if they even reached that age, because they probably didn't due to all the inhaling of tar and soot, and probably worse complications like lung cancer and such. These kids sometimes would get stuck in the chimneys all around Old Reekie, and if they were stuck, there was only two things they can do. The chimney sweeper, the guy who ran the chimney sweeping operation, would light up the chimney as the kid is inside. He would hope that the kid would go into a frenzied panic and dig out through the chimney, hoping that he would come out. If he was truly stuck and the fire did not work, well, then they would send the second kid. If that kid or a second kid got too stuck, then they would rip them out. Unfortunately, they would not survive if they were ripped out of the chimney. So there may very well be bones in some of these old houses inside the chimneys. It's a very sad way of life, and that's why Edinburgh, is a very nice, pleasant city to walk around nowadays. But it was a very different place for a few hundred years. From the 1400s all the way to about the early 1900s. It was a very different city, not one very pleasant to live in, I can imagine. Another thing is, a lot of people, while these chimney sweepers would be doing their job, they would not even bother turning off their fire. The reason is they want to leave the coals in the smolder in order for it not to go out, because it will be such a pain for that customer to relight their fires. So the kids would be doing their work in a hot chimney. That's why that name Oriki goes very far. Wendy says this is an epic stream. I'm so glad you think so. All right, everyone, I'm seeing a lot of fighting in the comments. Please, no fighting. Keep things very nice. Keep the good vibes. Please don't make light of other people in the comments or make fun of them in any way. Neither to myself or to other people in the comments. It's like being very rude at a party. Don't do that. That does constitute for being timed out or worse. So thank you so much for keeping the good vibes, and thank you. We have another thing right in front of over here. We have a water cistern. This used to be the only water cistern in the entire city of Edinburgh. It would service the entire city, but only turn on 3 hours after midnight. And at first people had to pay. And then the people who had some money would usually get someone to come over here late at night in order to get some water. So you could just imagine the entire city of tens of thousands of people getting water for only one location. And many people did not bathe. So yeah, very, very grimy city back then. It goes to show, when you learn about history, both the negative and the good, it goes to show that things can change very quickly in the greater context of history. Sometimes you have a city that was in the city that's rather pleasant nowadays, and that could happen anywhere around the world. So no place is forever doomed. Last stop today is a bar that's after my own heart, a pub. Because this pub it has the same name as one of my favorite films of all time. Let me know. I'm going to have people guess, actually. Some people are very that have listened very long, very well. Let me know. What do you think this pub right next to me is named? It's at the end of what used to be the old town. So the old town used to end right here. That's a hint. It would end right here. The old town. So the walls extend past this wall and go the other side. So Christine says the Highlander. Oh, that's a good guess. Not quite. Carol says Pennington. Not quite. The Tipsy Crow, says George. Not quite. And no, it's not the Spider-Man either. B. Griffin says the Haggis Pub. No. We got one. We got two. We got Lauren and Ian. Well, both of you are Edinburghers, so I'll let a few more people guess. But we got Maureen as well. Everyone, this is the World's End. Yep, this pub is literally called the World's End. There's actually a lot of pubs in the UK and in Ireland called the World's End. But this one is called the World's End for a specific Edinburgh reason. As I mentioned, the wall was right over here, so this would be the very last stop for many Edinburghers, if they venture any further. And hence, this was the World's End. Inside, it's a very nice pub. A great sirloin steak with some amazing chips and a great cider as well. Audrey says this pub has a murder connection as well. Oh, I don't know. I barely researched those two gentlemen from Edinburgh's history. What was their name? Burke and something else? Yeah, they're very, very interesting fellows. Can you show us inside? Wendy, do a live video yesterday inside, but there was no cell phone reception. It's very small. Maybe I'll post a photo at some point. And it sounds like a great meal. It was. Let me show you the custom kilt makers. World. Oh. And kilt me. Across. And let me show you the views over here. Here's number 1 High Street, which are
Who are you pumping steel with?
I came here yesterday, rock salt. It had an amazing avocado toast. Lauren says it's better now. Yeah, it's good, yeah. There was bad service in that one block. I'll finish with these views. Wendy says, have a great night, wee bunny man. Thank you so much, Wendy. So right here, the fence is blocking a little bit of these views, but look at that. Here's the Waverley train station. You can take trains here to London, to other parts, to I assume Liverpool, Glasgow, Manchester, so many other places in England. And for some reason, there's an obelisk. Everyone, thank you so much for tuning in. Mega Urbanists will be getting Super Urbanists and above will be getting a bonus videos from here. You'll be seeing a little bit if you never had the chance, if you're not Scottish, never went out to Inverness. On my tour bus, I quickly passed Inverness. I shot a little bit of bonus footage there. Also, you'll be seeing a 360 video of St. Giles in the cathedral and other special bonuses all throughout the UK. So patreon.com/urbanist, or press that join button on YouTube, or press that become a supporter button on Facebook. On Facebook, feel free to share these videos. Facebook is doing something with live videos where they're giving huge bonuses to the top live video creators. So the more bonuses I can end up getting from companies like Facebook, the more I can give you live entertainment. So everyone, thank you so much for tuning in. Here was Edinburgh, Scotland, beautiful Edinburgh. Wonderful place. Try some haggis, Scotch eggs if you have the chance. I will be finding a way to show you some haggis at some point during this trip. Everyone, keep being awesome and always keep on exploring. See you at 3 p.m. every single day, Thursdays through Fridays. Bye-bye. Cheerio. Cheerio.